Hello and welcome to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel, and in today's episode, the new Ford Anglia Estate. Hello and welcome back. Now if you're new to Quarterlight, we're a car brochure channel here on YouTube, looking at car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s and sometimes beyond that as well. So if you're interested in cars, car brochures, looking back on cars gone by, really all about bringing back those memories, then please do consider subscribing. It is all completely free. Back to today's episode. Whenever we air an episode on Fridays, we call those Ford Fridays because we look at a Ford every Friday. Today, no exception. Today we're looking at the new Ford Anglia Estate. So let's have a look at that brochure now. So here is today's brochure. It says new from Ford Anglia Estate car. So this is just looking at the estate. Very unusual little brochure actually. I mean, it's tiny. If I just throw you like it's not much bigger than a pen really. It's a tiny little brochure. You often find with brochures from the 60s, they often don't have actual photos in the cars, that are actually drawings. This is one of those drawings, and this comes at a time when the estate car just came out, hence why it says new from Ford. But when you think about the Anglia, and of course Anglia was a name used by Ford for a long time, when you think about the Anglia, you always think about the 105Es, the sort of opposite sloping window. I'll just remind you what they look like. Very distinctive styling, like I say, with this window that's sloping the opposite way and these fins. And of course, very much a car brought to us for younger viewers, and younger viewers probably even know about this car as well from shows like Harry Potter. But of course, the estate lost all this sort of styling, so I think in some ways the estate is much more of a forgotten Anglia because of that. And of course the estate came later as well than the standard two-door saloon. So the three-door estate, came in 1961, I do believe, and September 1961, and I do believe this brochure is from 1961 as well, hence why it's saying new on there. But we'll open the brochure up, and like I say, it's quite an unusual brochure, this one, not only because it's small, but also how it kind of like opens. Opens quite conventionally at first, then we'll see there's little pages to open the opposite way, etc. But we'll have a look at that in a moment. But like I say, all the drawings, all the images I should say, are drawings for this one, very common in the 60s. Let's have a look at the text, then we'll have a look at these drawings. So it tells us a new shape of excitement, masterfully developed from the successful Anglia saloon by Britain's top styling team, and brilliantly engineered for every condition of road and weather. The new Anglia Estate car is a comfortable, energetic and really capacious solution for those who must have extra load space. You'll save worry, time and money with this car. When there's work to be done, furniture to be moved, goods to be delivered, people and luggage to be collected, you can cope yourself without calling in costly alternative forms of transport. You do things your own way with the Anglia Estate car. And then we've got quite a peculiar little image which really doesn't show very much of the car at all really, but then we'll look at the main image of this couple, I guess, walking a couple of dogs, telling you, yes, you need an estate because you've got some dogs, maybe. But you certainly notice from the rear, we've certainly lost that very sort of iconic rear end of the saloon with those fins and that opposite raking window. Kind of like lost a bit of its character, really, in many ways because of that. But it is really lovely drawing, isn't it? I love the little hubcaps, how they've been drawn in there. It's still an interesting car, and still would be nice to see one of these in a show. A little bit different, isn't it, having an Anglia that really doesn't look like an Anglia from the rear. Anyway, let's turn the page. Incidentally, there is actually a dealer stamp which we'll get to at the end of this brochure, and also the date, which I'll show you where that is as well. So from the front, typically Anglia with that sort of big grille, that unusual, almost like wide mouth frog look at the front. Reminding you that it is an Anglia, but like I say, at the rear we've lost most of the styling. We'll have a look at the text here. Going to talk about this little area, I guess. This is what it's all about, isn't it? Having that extra space, and then we'll come back to this rather nice drawing. So here it's telling you the features in relation to the rear of the Anglia, telling you the number 1 at the top there. The counterbalance tailgate can be opened fully with less than a foot's clearance behind the vehicle, and it keeps the rain off you when you're loading. Typical feature, I guess. Number 2, it's telling us most of the load space is below the window level, thus lessening the chance of damaged windows and maintaining clear rearward vision. Number 3, the spare wheel is housed out of the way beneath the floor, can be removed in seconds thanks to the quick release fasteners on the hatch. Number 4, the floor is covered in attractive extra hard linoleum and is protected from scratches by the metal rubbing strips. Loads can be slid in and out without worry. Number 5, the filler cap is placed towards the centre of the vehicle and is kept completely clear of the load space. Fueling is equally simple from either side of the vehicle. Number 5, I'll just show you where that is because it's quite hard to see. There you go, right down there on the bottom right hand side. So an unusual place for the fuel cap, telling you it's not, because often with estate cars at this period, of course, you would actually see the filler and the pipe coming down here somewhere, and obviously that would take load space up. So they moved it in this location, which certainly does mean there's more load space and there's less bits intruding in that area, but of course, a more dangerous place to put it, and obviously that's why we don't get fuel caps in that position nowadays. Just moving back to the text. And number 6, in this view the rear seats is folded forward for maximum load space. Notice the nylon catches on the wheel arches which hold the seat firmly in the down position. And there is our main image of the Anglia Estate in rather an attractive colour there. Overall, I wouldn't say it was a beautiful looking car, but an estate car there for practicality, although I've said it many times. I've never understood the idea of a 3-door estate, but remember, this is only quite a small car. So we turned the page again and we got a nice sort of see-through image of the estate. Quite common for estates to have this sort of, what you can put inside, which we'll certainly zoom in. And we've got this little flap to look at, which changes the image, which I think is quite a nice little touch. But we'll start with the text. We'll find out what this is saying, drawing the opposite way around and look at the images. So it tells us, takes loads off your mind. In 2 quick movements, the rear seat can be folded forward to more than double the load space. You'll find you have the carrying capacity of a small truck, which is still retained all the Anglia's silence, smoothness and performance. You can slip in tripods, instruments, posts, coat stands, crates, you name it, and you can be sure that the Anglia Estate car can carry it easily. And whatever the load, there's plenty of power from the Anglia's world famous 4-cylinder short stroke engine. After all, in modified form, it leads the world in Formula Junior class racing. And there is the image itself, and indeed they're putting a tripod on there. It's kind of like showing more like a working scene I guess, in this particular image. You'll also the age of the brochure is shown really by the fact these particular staples are rusted at some point in its life. We'll come back to opening this up in a moment. Let's go to the left hand side first. And rather weirdly, they've decided to write completely on the opposite way around. I'm telling you here, notice how the instruments are placed where they should be, right in front of the driver. That's a valuable safety feature. Notice too the full width parcel tray and lockable glove box. The Anglia Estate car is very much a driver's car. Well, we can't really see that because you may just turn the brochure the wrong way around, so let's write that again. And there we go, a nice peep inside of this green example showing you how it's laid out, and I think they actually look quite nice, but I like 60s designs on the inside, I must admit. And of course we have an opening quarter light, which we can only approve of. Now let's go back to that other image and see if we can open it up. To back where we started, like I say, these flaps open up to change it from this sort of like almost like a car at work, to open these little flaps up changes the text, changes the image to more of a, see if we can do this, and apologise for putting my arm in the way, to more sort of like a holiday type scene, which is nice. We'll start with the text and then we'll come back to the images. So it tells us here to plan freely, with back seats up again and 4 aboard. There's terrific room for everybody and space to spare for children. Load on the picnic hamper, beach ball, model yacht, snorkel, flippers, and you're set for the seaside. This is freedom that only a small estate can give you. Only deluxe equipment is good enough for the Anglia Estate car. You want to see for yourself the smart trim, wonderful visibility, excellent detail finish, padded armrests, washable headlining, opening front and rear quarter lights, and the dozens of features that contribute to the quality of this stylish newcomer. Beyond a doubt, the world's most exciting estate car. So yes, the image themselves there is more of a holiday type scene, I guess, and they've even put things like that beach ball and toy yacht in the back there. And then moving over with the caption, make every weekend a holiday, and this unusual little scene. And then we turn the page and we go straight into the specifications and what is tiny little writing, because this is a tiny brochure, but we'll try and zoom in the best we can get. It also tells us the body colours and the two tone colours as well. I think we'll start with the colours, then move this way. So starting at the top there, body colours, we can have Savoy black, Ascot grey, ermine white, sapphire blue, ambassador blue, Caribbean turquoise, Windsor grey, lime green, Monaco red, Panama yellow, and imperial maroon. So the dual tones, or two colour examples, how it laid out kind of like confused me at first, I must admit, with that line, but I guess it's trying to say, for example, if I can just get a pen in there, ermine white would be the upper, and then it's got a line to indicate the Ascot grey is the lower colour. But for a second it confused me, but ermine white then upper and Panama yellow lower, Ascot grey and imperial maroon lower, and then if we go to the right hand side, we've got Ascot grey with Windsor grey, ermine white with lime green, ermine white with sapphire blue, and then finally ermine white with Caribbean turquoise. That then takes us to the specification. So it's a 4-cylinder engine there, capacity 997cc. It's only a little engine there. Well, we got BHP 39 at 5,000 RPM, 3-point rubber suspension of engine and gearbox. Engine lubrication, high efficiency rotor type pump, full floor filter, capacity of system 4 pints. It's a 12 volt system, Fuel system, camshaft operated mechanical diaphragm pump, downdraft carburetor with separate choke control, fitted with combined air cleaner and silencer, glass sediment ball-in system, electrical petrol gauge and tank capacity of 7 gallons. Cooling system is pressurised belt-driven fan and water pump, thermostatic heat control, capacity of system 10.5 or 10.25 pints I should say. Transmission, clutch, single dry plate cushioned, hydraulic operation, remote control floor gear change, 4 forward speeds and reverse with synchromesh on second, third and top, so no synchromesh in first. Tells you about the ratios there. Oil capacity of gearbox 1 3/4 pints. Rear axle semi-floating, pressed steel banjo housing with high-powered final drive. Tells you the axle ratio and the oil capacity is 2 pints. Front suspension, independent front wheel suspension, anti-roll, torsion bar end bodied. So the rear suspension, longitudinal asymmetric semi-elliptic springs with hydraulic double-acting lever-type shock absorbers. Brakes, hydraulic internal expanded 8-inch diameter, 2 leading shoes on front, leading and trailing rear. Tells you about the total lining area. Foot brake on all 4 wheels, handbrake on rear wheel only. Steering, high efficiency recirculating ball type. 2-spoke dished steering wheel, turning circle 32 feet. Wheels and tyres, pressed steel with wide base rims, fitted with bright metal hubcaps. Electrical equipment. So we've got a 2-brushed ventilated generator with a compensated voltage control. Starter motor, single tone horn operated by button on steering column antenna. Batteries 12 volt 38 amp hour at 20 hour rate, located under hood. Instruments grouped conveniently in panel immediately in front of the driver, including speedometer, fuel gauge, temperature gauge, ignition and oil pressure warning lights, direction indicator, telltale lights, main beam warning light and instrument lighting. Controls accessibly positioned, pictorial control knobs from left to right are choke, windscreen wiper, key operated ignition starter switch, combined instrument side headlamp switch, vertical heater and ventilation controls when fitted, because at this time they're very often an accessory, in center panel and with matching hood. Release toggle. Hand operated headlamp dipper switch located left hand side of steering column. Rear tailgate. Rear access is provided by a single counterbalance tailgate hinged at the top. Full width rear window incorporated. Central handle with barrel lock. Body all steel welded integral construction. Safety glass all round. Curved fixed windscreen. Hinged no draft front ventilator windows with press button safety catches. Opening rear quarter windows. Full drop wind down door windows. Luggage capacity 35.5 cubic feet with rear seat folded flat. 15.25 with rear seats up. General equipment, dual electric bright metal windscreen wipers, moisture proof hooded headlamps, separate side lights, twin tail stop lamps and reflectors, bright metal tail lamp, surrounds, rear number plate illumination, flasher directional indicator with self-cancelling arm on right hand side of steering column, 2 sun visors, 3 ashtrays, interior and exterior rear view mirrors, full width parcel tray, chrome plated full width bumpers with recess under front bumper for number plate fixing, 4 jacking points, provision for fitting fresh air heater and demister and radio. Optional extras, heater and demister, fresh air, white sidewall tyres, And it just says at the bottom there, Ford policy is one of continuous improvement. The right to change prices, specifications and equipment at any time without notice is reserved. And then we've just got the typical brochure thing of showing a little bit of a diagram with the measurements, which is really too hard to show on camera. But if we turn the page, it's actually nice, quite a nice little image to put on the back of the brochure. And here we get the dealer stamp, which we'll have a look at, and the date. Let's just zoom in on the text. It tells us when you own a Ford, you buy more than a car. You buy the backing of a unique worldwide Ford service. Your local Ford dealer, a member of the leading after-sales service in Britain, is comparably fitted to provide the regular attention that every fine car from Ford deserves. Ford service is only available from a Ford dealer, and we've got this rather nice image of this Anglia on the ramps there. It says it with our compliments, and then yes, we do get the dealer stamp in the correct location. Welbeck Motors Limited, Crawford Street, Welbeck. A little bit of a numbers at the bottom. I know they're a little small and hard to read, but we can see on the far right hand side there the number 61, which is going to be 1961. I presume the 8 would probably indicate August 61, so quite an early brochure for the estate model. And then if I just swing it back, finally it says printed in England by Waterlaws. So there we go, the little Ford Anglia Estate in this rather lovely little tiny brochure. Very early brochure this is for the Anglia Estate. And yes, it did certainly lose some of its character from the little two-door saloons, didn't they? But nevertheless, an interesting car. Do you remember these? Please do jot that in the comments. Love to read everyone's comments, of course. And we'll end, as we always do, by saying thank you so much for watching Quarterlight today and the Ford Anglia. If you enjoyed this particular episode, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And of course, if you've not done already, please do consider subscribing. It is all completely free. You can also become a member as well. Have a look on the YouTube Quarterlight page for that. Very small fee for the membership. Subscribing, like I say, that is completely free, so please do consider doing that. But thank you so much for watching today. You'll see a couple of boxes popping up there for other episodes you can view. But we'll end by saying thank you so much. Please do take care. We'll see you very soon, and goodbye.